Welcome to another segment of Made in Sullivan County, where we visit places that you ask yourself, I wonder what they make in that building. Today, however, we are at the home of Tennessee High School student Cody Reimer and the headquarters of A&R Racing. Here's Cody and his family.
Hey, my name is Cody Reimer. I'm a driver of the 73 for the A&R Racing Ford Fusion. I race at Wood Raceway in Royal Retreat, Virginia.
I'm Billy Reimer. I'm Cody's daddy. I'm an all-around pit crew.
My name is Kalina Reimer, and I'm Cody's mom. This is Avery. We help do all kinds of stuff on the race car, and I do some of the small decals on the race car.
Hey, I'm Levi Newman. I'm Cody's brother, and I'm all-around pit crew.
I'm Iris Arnold, and I do the cooking for this bunch and the books.
I'm Jim Arnold. I'm the crew chief of the A&R Racing.
A&R Racing is our family team. This is a family, and it is a close-knit family. This is my father, and I'm an Arnold. My maiden name is Arnold, and I married a Reimer, so we put them together and put A&R Racing. So it does mean Arnold and Reimer Racing. So we are always together, and that's what it is.
It's been there since day one, is
Yep.
what she said. We was like, me and my papa was talking about, yeah, we need a race team name. So he was like, yeah, A&R, because of Arnold and Reimer, like what she said. So then we just sticked with it, and the more we sticked with it, the more it got in our mind, and was like, yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, it was either 73 or 43, and then I like 10, but we didn't want 10. So 7 plus 3 equals 10, so that's how we came up with 73. And plus, you don't see that everywhere. You see the number 10 a lot more than what you would see 73. It's exotic. I went to the dirt track whenever I was younger. We went a lot, and then whenever I got to the age about 10 or 11, I told my papa that I wanted to do one of these, and he said, okay, once you get the age, I'll have you one. So we eventually ended up having one.
He was 11 years old, so he wanted to be a race driver, but all these race cars are straight shift vehicles. So first thing he's going to have to learn how to do is drive just a stick shift. So I went out and bought a Cavalier 5-speed, and then we would hit parking lots, abandoned parking lots, all the church parking lots, and practice with the driving, be able to stop on the hill, pull out, and it was a task, but he was dedicated. He was dedicated, and he put his heart into learn how to drive. He did. He was a safe driver. And one time I said, well, let's just go out here on the highway and just. He said, no, Papa, no, that's illegal. I said, yeah, you're right. It's
We was interested in a car up in Virginia, and we had to go rent a trailer at the U-Haul place because we didn't have a trailer yet. So we had to go all the way up there. We had to rent the trailer, then go up there and pick it up, and then we brought it down here, and then we went to then we had to go buy a trailer, and
but we had to let him learn how to drive that particular car too. Yeah. So we have some property out here in Hickory Tree, and that was a real adventure to get him in that race car and to get him started out being able to drive that old race car. It wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, but it was very functional. In fact, with that car right there, he got Rookie of the Year the first year and second in points. So the car was a very good car.
And another thing is learning how to drive that car in grass. We learned how to drive that car in grass before I even had a car to drive on pavement. So that was even more difficult with all the holes. So we probably went about an hour or two every day until I got it down pat, and then I got it down pat and I liked it, so I just kept on asking, hey, can we go out? Can we go out? So we just kept on going out, and then we eventually made that car into my second race car. So.
But he couldn't race until he's 12. So we, the car that he learned how to drive straight shift is the following year, after he got Rookie of the Year, we tore that car apart and built a race car out of it, and then he got a he got track championship the following year after that.
When we come back, Cody explains how he balances school at Tennessee High, a job, and racing. You're watching Made in Sullivan County on Power 7.
Well, we wasn't never comfortable with it, but I asked her. I said, if he wants to race, what can we do to do? And she's like, she wasn't comfortable with it, so she wanted. She said, as long as he got all his safety gear, a safe seat, safe belts, safe suit, and all that stuff, then he'll be able to race. So me and my father-in-law, we got everything together and built him a safe car, and if Mom ain't happy, nobody's happy.
If we can't, if we have to really stress safety, it's the number one thing that we have to stress is safety in this car. And every time when we built our first car, we made sure that the car was extra safe, and just want to keep Cody safe. That was the main objective, and let him learn the ability to drive. And he's come a long way in that too.
The first race that he went out, we were nervous as all get out. And we really, when he went over the guardrail there, the safety, we knew everything on there was safe because everything worked like it should. We were nervous wreck, but we knew that he was safe and that everything on the car was what it was supposed to be.
Juggling school was hard for anybody, I think. But he makes good grades. He's not straight A's, but he does his best and he works hard at everything that he does. I feel like he's dedicated for school because he does want to go to college and be an adult and be a functioning adult. And he also wants to race, so he knows how to half and half those.
Well, first is school because it's more important. Well, I know that racing's important too, but I balance school first because you ain't going to get nowhere if you don't have that education from school. And then how I balance my job is I really don't do much on this car, so I go to work and usually the guys take care of it back here, so I can go to work and the car will be set up for the next Saturday for me.
The car itself, it's very labor intensive. I would have never have thought that in my entire life. This car takes so many hours a week to keep setting it up, to keep it in shape. It's continuous work. Sometimes it gets kind of nerve-wracking, but I just have a passion to do this right here. I love to work on this car, and in fact, just today I worked 3 hours on it this morning, just tightening stuff up. Everything on it gets loosened up these races, and tighten it up and get it ready and keep it safe. And it's fun, but it's hard work. It's very hard work.
And he said labor. It's not only labor. He does tons and tons of research on what we need and what we have to get and what would be the best for what we have. So it's not only labor. He does a lot.
Yeah, these sometimes days that we're slack or whatever, I spend a lot of time just researching parts, pieces, place to order the parts and pieces. We have trucks coming in here continuous, bringing odd stuff, odd that we have to keep this car running, because it goes through quite a few parts, but it's expensive and it takes a lot out of our budgets and stuff. But I'm retired and I get to spend a lot of time on it. Billy, he works, and he works his hind end off, works overtime and brings money in, and the whole family just contributes to this car, just the whole family. I was involved in the early 70s with dirt track racing. I had a car then. I didn't drive it, but we had a car, my brother and I did, and it was a '57 Ford. It was, but it was a good looking car. But that's all it was good looking. I just wish I could go back in time and start over with what I have knowledge on this car, and it might be a totally different outcome than it is right now.
Oh yeah, my family supports me with everything that I do, and this is a big one that they do, and it's not only me that does it, everyone has a role, so.
We know on the weekend where the boys are. They're not out getting in trouble, and they work hard at what they do down in the pits, so we enjoy that part of it. And know that they're where they can have a lot of fun and stay out of trouble. So we enjoy that part.
After the break, we find out why A&R Racing went dirt racing instead of asphalt racing. You're watching Made in Sullivan County on Power 7.
I guess the most exciting one was when he went up on the guardrail. I mean, it was nerve-wracking, but knowing that he was okay, but I kind of like watching the wrecks except for him wrecking. So, knowing that he was okay, but that was just, it was rocking on the guardrail there and just watching it and trying to calm her down too. So.
Yeah.
That was probably my most exciting moment.
I videotape the races. I try to videotape every race that we have. And when that happened, I pretty much froze. And I just kept videotaping and didn't know really what was going on. And she had ran to the bottom of the hill to watch what was going on and to get closer to see if he was okay. And I was still half a mile up the hill just waiting for somebody to say, he's okay, and it's fine. And he's honestly probably more safer in this car than he is going down the highway to work or to school in the mornings. So it's nice to have that comfort that he is safe in the car.
That particular time that he did wreck the car, a lot of people, they automatically take off running because it looks very dramatic, you know. I mean, it's Billy took off running, but I was watching the track crew and the emergency people. It used to be for the city and the firefighters, and when I saw that they were not excited and they were sort of talking to him in the car, I knew it was okay. Because if not, you could have seen their body language that something's got to be done right now.
I took off running down there because that car was a brand new car. We just built that car, and this car T-boned him and hit him on the guardrail. I took off running. I went on the racetrack, and you know I'm supposed to go on the racetrack. I go always when he gets in the barrack, I'm always on the racetrack to make sure he's okay. And then first word come out of his mouth, he's like, "Oh my God, my butt hurts." And then that. One good thing about our track crew is really nice people, and they took him on the four wheel and took him on the front stretch to show his mama that he was okay and stuff like that, and he's waving at her and stuff.
It wasn't that it was a happy thing that happened, it was just exotic. You would never see a front wheel drive car go over the guardrail again. And the track owner said that it only happened like twice, and I was like the second car to do it, so. Because he did it himself and then I did it.
Cody races Super Street class, and it's an asphalt late model, but we switched over to a dirt track cars, and he races a Super Street class. And he can race this same car in Kingsport, but it's cheaper for dirt because of the tires cost more, they tear your motor down, and
A lot of more tech stuff at the asphalt. The bodies they got different procedures. They had everything had to be more precise on the cars. Plus the fees, the driver fees are, I understand, a little bit more expensive. He does not pay anything except for pit fees, but down at the NASCAR track, they have a fee for the driver itself. It's can be expensive, you know.
You gotta You gotta buy your NASCAR
License,
license,
that's
which
it.
I heard is not cheap. So if you go to a NASCAR sanctioned track, you gotta buy them, and then your car has to go through a template. And if your car does not match that template, you're out of there. You can't race there. And if you don't run their gas, you can't race there. Their tires, you gotta run everything precise to them. So once you start talking about asphalt, it's a totally different story than dirt. Whenever we can run whatever we want to on dirt and still be legal for that track, and just really follow the fast track rules for a crate late model.
A season usually starts in April, and it lasts till September, and that's our race season. It's about 6 months, and it's every Saturday that we're there. We have had a couple of rainouts this year, which gave them a little extra time to do some extra stuff on the car. But when it's off season during the winter months, they are always out here working on the car, thinking of something different, adding something, doing, trying to make everything better for the race car, trying to up the game a little bit every single year.
Well, you gotta update it every year. If not, like I was talking about technology, you're gonna be falling back because there's there's at least one of everything that's new every year that comes out by a different brand. There'll be a different brand making something every year. So you might have an old shock, and that's what's going to make you going to lose it, because if you don't have new technology, you're not going to do you're not going to do as good as if you had old one. Well, you're going to do better if you have good technology and not old. Yeah, we're constantly looking at seeing what we can upgrade and what we can make better and what we can get that's new and that's going to put us on the top of the line.
When we come back, Cody tells us where he would like to be in 5 years and their long-term goals for A&R Racing. You're watching Made in Sullivan County on Power 7.
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Probably off to college, to be honest, because I'll still be racing, but I won't be doing it as much because I'm thinking about going to college in Ohio for 4 years. So I want to do UNOH, which is a racing technical school from NASCAR. I sort of see myself as getting a job with the race team in NASCAR and then retiring and then putting that money for my own team for retirement and then start racing in my later years.
You may have Avery right here. See, he's at 11 years old. They start training him for driving race cars at 12, and he's right on track right there.
He's at the racetrack. He's 8 months old, and he's at the racetrack. He's upset now, but he's 8 months
he
old.
wants to drive sooner.
Yeah, he's ready. 8 months old, and he's ready. He's been around racing his whole life. So, and even though it's been only 8 months, that's what he knows, and he likes to watch the cars go around the track. And we put him inside the race car, and he just has fun with it.
Yeah, he'll grab the steering wheel, act like he's driving.
And one thing about the car will always be ready for him. If he comes back home, he come home for a weekend visit, and he wants to race, the car will be here ready for him to go racing if he wants to go race.
That's one good thing about, like I was saying, having the gas back home, because I can go somewheres and then come back and then it'll already be ready. It sort of is like NASCAR because I have them here working on my car and I can just go race it. My friends just think that, you can just drive around in a circle. No, it's 10 times more than that. I wish it was all that you do is drive around in a circle, and that you don't have to do anything to your car to get it ready, because you can just come outside and there it is and just hop in it and go. It's nothing like that.
And people think it's easy, like driving a regular vehicle. Driving on dirt is nothing like driving a regular vehicle on the asphalt.
Just like with any sport, it's time consuming, and it's a family event. And even when he was younger, he played basketball and football and wrestling and different sports, but this is what everybody gets into. Our whole family's involved in it, and we can all enjoy it and have fun. And it's still practice. You still have to practice just like with any other sport, and it's not It's not easy, for sure, and it's expensive, but we all love it and we all enjoy it, and this is what we do as a family.
So we don't mind the financial sacrifice for it because we'd be spending it on something else anyway. But it's a lot of fun, and like I said, it's a family every day of the week. We're a close-knit family, and that means a lot.
Yeah, we don't take vacations. That's our vacation right here. The race car is our vacation. It consumes us right there. It does.
Yeah, we used to go to Pigeon Forge every week, and then we started racing, and we doggo it all. Like, we only went maybe once a year, and that was only for my birthday. But then we started racing, and that's what we do. Go to the racetrack every Saturday. Enjoy it. Can't complain about it.
After the break, we'll hear what makes A&R racing work and some final thoughts. You're watching Made in Sullivan County on Power 7.
Well, what I would have to say to someone that's trying to get into racing that's that young is that you just gotta like dream about it and then just find someone that can help you to get there. Because if you're gonna say that you're gonna do it, you can do it. But if you're gonna think that you're not going to. So just be there in the mind that you're gonna be there at that time to get in one of them, and just like find someone that races a lot and just get connected with them, and then you will be there probably one day.
I think just the family time. That's what I think. I do love racing, but the number one thing that comes to my mind when I think about racing is the family sitting at the table. All of us sitting at the table, eating together and talking. That to me is that's the number one thing in my mind right there. Just the love, the time spent with family. That's my hope.
Sometimes racing is all we talk about. We talk about nothing else.
But you're talking.
We are.
We
And
do.
we're always together.
We do go out in public and like go to restaurants and eat, and Mom's like, "Is that all that you're going to talk about is racing?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what we live. That's what we live. We live racing."
Yeah.
And so we talk about it everywhere we go. Heck, we can be at church and we still talk about racing. But God comes first. But we do have our times. We have our ups and downs. But because you can't hang out with your family too long, and then you have your downs. But we all the time jump right back up from it. So.
One of the funny times that I think about in racing, that when Cody won his first race in the K cars. It was the first car we had, and everybody, the whole family was very ecstatic. And my wife she was up in the stands. If you had to see this place, she was far away from the track, and suddenly she took off running, and she was on that track in about 30 seconds, right there with us.
That fast.
Yeah, it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen, but she was moving. I'm telling you, Granny was moving.
K cars is front wheel drive, 4-cylinder cars. We had a Cavalier. The Super Streets are rear wheel drive, you know.
One of my funniest moments was I got my second win, which was shortly after my first one. Is what happens is, like I said, we went over, well, I didn't say it, but like what they said, we went over to the guardrail with that new car, and then we brought my old one out, and that's how I won my first race. So, and then I brought this first week we brought the new one back. I won that race, and the dang microphone wasn't working. So I had to use the track official's headset that they put to the microphone up there in the booth, and that's how we did the interview.
You want to hear something funny?
I'd love to hear
No. Cody went on a date, and I thought he talked about his racing. and shortly after that, they wasn't together no more.